national correspondent Kayla Gaskins in Washington. The world's attention is on Davos, Switzerland, where President Trump addressed the World Economic Forum as tensions rise with Europe over the U.S.'s designs on Greenland. At the World Economic Forum Wednesday, President Trump ruled out the U.S. taking Greenland by force.
That's probably the biggest statement I made, because people thought I would use force. I don't have to use force. I don't want to use force. I won't use force.
Doubling down on his view that acquiring Greenland is essential to U.S. security.
It's sitting undefended in a key strategic location between the United States, Russia, and China. That's exactly where it is, right smack in the middle.
Arguing neither Greenland nor Denmark or even a European coalition could protect the island from Russia and China.
The fact is, no nation or group of nations is in any position to be able to secure Greenland other than the United States.
NATO's Secretary General giving Trump credit for boosting European economies and forcing Europe to increase responsibility for its own defense.
I'm not popular with you now because I'm defending Donald Trump, but I really believe we can be happy that he is there because he has forced us in Europe to step up, to face the consequences, that we have to take care more of our own defense.
President Trump had been threatening to use tariffs as a negotiation tactic to get a deal for the U.S. to acquire Greenland, but after a meeting with the NATO Secretary General, Trump announced he won't impose tariffs after we have formed the framework of a future deal with respect to Greenland and, in fact, the entire Arctic region. Trump said there will be more details to come as discussions continue. One topic in future talks, the Golden Dome defense system and how it pertains to Greenland. In Washington, I'm Kayla Gaskins.
European leaders are firing back after President Trump suggested the U.S. take Greenland by force. But the question of how it would impact NATO remains unanswered. Let's go to Emma Withrow from the Fact Check team and to start, explain how this would all play out, Emma, if the U.S. really does follow through with the idea of taking Greenland by force.
So it would land as a direct attack on NATO because Greenland is part of the Kingdom of Denmark, which is a NATO ally, and the U.S. already gets some of what it wants there as far as military access goes through existing defense agreements with Denmark. NATO's Article 5, though, is about collective defense if a member is attacked. But a scenario where the U.S. is the aggressor against Denmark would be pretty unprecedented and also what some would call pretty destabilizing.
Well, you already touched on this. An important point, the U.S. and Denmark already have defense agreements, and part of the reason that the U.S. wants Greenland is because of military positioning as well as security.
Right.
What would the U.S. gain that we already don't have?
So even though the U.S. already gets major military access, it doesn't fully control the land, the laws, or the resources. So if the U.S. took it over, it would gain total decision-making power to build and operate freely, plus tighter controls over the Arctic strategy and these critical minerals that are found in Greenland.
And one of the arguments in favor of this is that the U.S. is the fact that they already rely heavily on us for defense.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I mean, if Greenland were attacked, NATO would treat it like an attack on Denmark, so the U.S. would have to respond and help defend it. And we already have a major military installation there, which kind of puts the U.S. as one of the lead defenders. But NATO doesn't automatically require the U.S. to do everything alone or send a specific number of troops. So the U.S. would most likely lead the defense, but it wouldn't be solely responsible.
All right, Emma, thank you.
Thanks.
For more on this Fact Check Team topic, including links to their sources, scan the QR code or visit thenationaldesk.com. The administration made it clear that acquiring Greenland is necessary for strategic reasons. So why Greenland? Let's go to Emma Withrow from the Fact Check Team. And the Trump administration is insisting that this is about security, at least that's part of it.
Yeah.
Tell us more about all of the factors that make Greenland so strategically appealing.
Yeah, like you said, lots of factors at play here and different aspects of Greenland that would really make it beneficial to the U.S., but it basically boils down to power, geography, resources, and the fact that the Arctic is becoming more and more important every single year. So the military position of Greenland really sets it apart. It sits in a strategic spot between North America and Europe, and it's crucial for monitoring activity in the Arctic, particularly with Russia. Shipping lanes are also starting to open up as the ice melts, which could really reshape trade and naval strategy. So control over Greenland equals leverage over key parts of the Arctic corridor and kind of an upper hand over Russia and China.
Leverage, resources, as you touched on, and something that we've discussed recently, rare earths. Break down how that factors into the equation.
Yeah, specifically for materials that are important for defense tech and supply chains, which would really eliminate our dependence on rivals for these types of things, rivals like China. Now, according according to the Center for Strategic and International Studies, Greenland ranks 8th in the world for rare earth reserves with 1.5 million tons, and is also home to 2 really rare earth deposits that are among the largest in the world. No rare earth mining has taken place just yet, but I'm assuming that if U.S. got control, that would happen shortly after.
All right, and this is obviously impacting not just the U.S., Greenland, or Denmark. Much more to the story when Emma returns with a breakdown of the impact of a Greenland takeover on our NATO allies.